I always wanted and needed something. Even when I was feeling good, I needed to feel just a little bit better.
If I could put a physical place on it in my body, it would be like a big, empty, huge hole right where your diaphragm is. A big, huge hole, though, big enough for a basketball to go right through.
I felt like I was Swiss cheese, and heroin filled up all the holes.
It gave me this courage, you know, that I could be in control of anything I wanted to. I could go and take the world on, and I could become a winner, and I would be important, and everybody would listen to me and do what I said to do, and nothing would go wrong.
I don't know, I felt like a whole person. I felt at peace.
I felt strong, and I felt like nothing could touch me, nothing could bother me. It just really, really made me feel totally and completely like I was Superwoman.
I'm gonna be shooting heroin the rest of my fucking life. That was it. I remember saying that in my head like it was loud and clear.
The first time I smoked cocaine, I was addicted.
It produces such a great feeling. That initial euphoria, you think, wow, this is the answer. And then you spend the rest of your addiction chasing that feeling of wholeness.
The first hit was the only hit that I really ever felt. The rest of the smoking was actually to try to gain that same euphoric feeling that you get from the very first. And it just never happens. Really never happens, and that's why the whole thing is a joke.
People will tell you, well, why can't you just stop using? You can't just stop using. If you're used to getting up in the morning, taking a shower, having a cup of coffee and some breakfast, and reading the newspaper on the way to work, try not doing that.
You don't know you have a drug problem when you have drugs all the time. It's when you don't have the drugs that you know you have a problem because you start doing all kind of stuff to get the drug.
Addiction really starts happening when you say, oh, I'll never do that, whatever it is that you're never going to do, and then you do it.
The most important thing in the world is the getting and the using of this drug. Nothing is more important.
You know, you look around the house. What do I got? Oh, I have a bicycle. Okay, sell the bike. Well, that'll fix me for a day or two. Okay, let's sell the TV. Let's sell the VCR. Oh, my daughter's keyboards. She had 2 little keyboards. I went and, you know, traded those for some drugs. I felt really bad about that. That was fucked up. So you done selling stuff. Then what do? How do you get your money? Oh, well, let's steal. You know, I can't sell what I've got, so let me sell what someone else has got.
I was into committing the burglaries and any other activities, selling drugs. It was like it was normal for me. It was like it would be okay, because that was kind of a high in itself.
I wouldn't hesitate to hurt an individual. I would rob you. I would steal from you. I would put Visine in your drink and knock you out. I mean, I would set you up.
Thinking it out, plotting it, and coming up with it, and getting away with it. I loved that.
Then maybe you get caught too many times stealing, or maybe it just gets old. They recognize you in the store. You're tired of going to the same stores. What else do I have to sell? Oh, I got my body. Okay, well, fuck, I don't want to sell that, but I want my drugs, so let's hit the Hostro. So, you know, Cap Street. I go down there, you know, I start learning how to turn tricks. That was just, and that.
Like I said, I had this really bad ego kick about I was the one in control, and like I was my own higher power, and So I was mad at these guys that would be like slobbering all over me and drooling all over me, and it's like they're getting off and I'm not, and I'm pissed, right?
When I first started prostituting my body, I did it for money. And then in the end, I prostituted my body for drugs. I actually justified that by saying I was eliminating the middleman. Toss-up, that was the term that was used really, really frequently, is toss-up.
I guess tossing up comes from the fact that you go from one person to the other. You know, first this person uses you, and then they kind of pass you over to the next person, or you go get passed to the next person.
They knew that I wanted these drugs so bad that they could give me little or nothing. They could give me a good hit or two, or a small piece of this stuff, and I would perform these sexual acts.
Pretty humiliating. Could you just do anything? Shit I thought I would never do, places, you know, I could pick out like 4 different spots on this block that I've had sex at in the open.
By that time, I was doing any and everything I could not to think about where my life had come to, especially around my children.
My daughter must have been just going through hell. Seemingly one minute I was in my right mind and responsible, and the next minute just completely out of my mind and out of the picture.
When I was 18, Desiree's father and I thought, well, what's gonna fix it? Maybe we should have a baby. And since we both came up with this idea, you know, this was like a lightning bolt out of the sky, and of course we were supposed to have a baby. Well, wouldn't you know it, 3 weeks later I was pregnant.
Crack is the only drug that I could think of that could make a mother leave her newborn baby in her crib and say, oh, she'll be all right, and literally go out to the streets to find this drug.
I would go out when she was asleep. I would, you know, leave her alone in the house. Only for a minute. But, you know, I'm going to buy drugs. What if I got picked up by the cops? What if I got shot? What if, you know, and I didn't come back and she's left alone in the house?
I brought 6 children into this world. And literally abandoned them.
They took her in December of '90, based on the fact that I got turned in by my daughter's aunt.
My daughter was like 4 months old when I finally went to my grandmother and said, I can't stop doing what I'm doing, and I can't take care of my baby, and I can't have her with me. Please take care of my child.
I was raised by a young mother, but even when the turmoil came about, she always kept us with her, close by her side. I left every single one of my children.
Oh, my last days using, oh, they were so awful. I was so tore up, I was limping around, I was whimpering and whining and begging. I didn't have any desire to hustle, but my body and my habit kept crying to be fed. And I couldn't even think about executing a criminal activity, I just wanted to hide.
I lost my friends and my family. Here I was getting validation from, you know, even though it was these guys who just wanted me for sex. I was still getting the validation. They would say, "Oh, Green Eyes, come on, girl. Ooh, oh, you got the best pussy. Come on, let's go." And I'd be like, "Wow, I got the best pussy. At least I got something, you know? I didn't have anything else. I didn't have a home anymore. I didn't have a life, but I had the best, you know, I had the best pussy.
The hustle was awful. I couldn't get any money. I couldn't even turn a trick. My old regulars didn't even want to see me, man. You know, I think they just would give me money out of pity.
So after I took all this guy's drugs and all his money, I ran out of the Fairfax Hotel here. And just to show you how insane I must have been, anybody else in their normal state of mind would have gone as far away from this individual as possible. Okay? And instead of going away as far as possible, I went into the hotel right here, right next door. From this hotel to this one, with the drug dealers, all his money and all his drugs.
And as I was smoking all these drugs, every time I put one up there to hit it, it had somebody's name on it. It was like, this is for the guy that made me toss up in the alley. And this is for the guy that called me a so-and-so last week. And this is for the fact that I hate myself. And what happened to me at that moment in time, to this day, I really can't tell you, because I really don't know. And when I woke up, all the drugs and all the money was still there. I had blood all down the front of my shirt, and my teeth felt like someone had grated them. And it dawned on me at that point in time that God didn't have to see fit for me to wake up in that hotel that day. And even though subconsciously I may have told myself that it would be better to be dead anyway, I really didn't want to die. Not like that, with no honor and pride and dignity, nothing. I didn't want to die that way.
I was so ashamed. I remember even the drugs couldn't hide the shame. I just couldn't get away from that feeling, you know, and I finally recognized and realized that me and all the dope fiends and dope dealers and dope users, we weren't the only ones on the street. There was like these normal people. And I was seeing the looks of disgust on their faces finally. And I hadn't seen that for years.
It really was starting to hit me what in the hell I got where I was at, which was nowhere. And I got onto this mindset of thinking about my daughter and how I needed to get her back and how much she needed me and how much I needed her, how much I really, really needed her because I was lost without her.
And I couldn't get any money and I couldn't get any hustle and I couldn't run any sales, and finally I would get some dope and hope that would carry me, and it wasn't enough. It just wasn't enough. You know, I wanted the cops to come and get me and take me home to prison.
I had been on a waiting list for a drug program after losing one of my children. And there was a message on the answering service that was saying, Jackie, we got a bed for you.
Along the way, I'd made a commitment to do something different, and I found out somewhere along the way that putting the two and two together, there had to be a spiritual connection for me of a higher power that was God. I really had to get that, and I got it somewhere along the way. I didn't develop that relationship, but I felt that connection.
So I remember looking at this poster on the wall, and it said, "Tired of going to jail? Want your kids back?" And I was like, yeah, I'm tired of going. I want my kids back.
We got a bed for you right now, but you got to come down. You got to be here by 2 o'clock, and it was like 12:30 in the afternoon then. You know. And then when it dawned on me, here's my opportunity to save my life.
If I could just get to a safe place where I could kick heroin and crack, I would be able to get clean. Because I had tried getting clean. You know, like I said, I did the clinics, I did the detoxes, I did Ozanam, I did Tom's Smith House, you know, places to go and detox. And I couldn't do it in the outside world, because if there was a chance for me to get up and walk out and go get some more dope, no matter how sick I was going to do it, as I had proved to myself many times before.
I got scared. I got really scared. Because as unmanageable as my life had become, I was familiar with it.
I must have been ready because I did whatever it was that they told me to do. You know, I had nothing else to lose. I had nothing else to go back out to.
The mere thought of going into this place where I didn't know people and having to find out how to live again and all this was just scary to me. So immediately my mind comes up to me and it goes, well, Jackie, you can't go to a program because you don't have anything to wear. You know, it's like, who cares what you're wearing when you're going to save your life?
I just did what they told me to do because I figured if I did everything the dope man told me to do, like the dope man would say, stand here, give me the money this time, watch out for the police. If a trick would say, I want you on your back or I want you on your knees or just suck my dick, I figure I might as well do what these people said for me to do because it was something positive. They were trying to help me get clean.
I had to be in a 12-step program every day. And I had to get involved in service, and I had to get a sponsor, and I had to work my steps, and I had to do this on a daily basis, and that ain't all. I had a lot more responsibility and a lot more to be accountable to and for, and I had to find out what that was.
Of course, with my family and everybody else being through with me, there was nobody to visit with me, so I needed cigarettes and candy and stuff. So I was kind of doing the same thing with the men that I had done out here on the streets, you know. Of course, because we couldn't have sex, I'd promise it to them. I'm going to give you some in a couple of weeks. Just, you know, fix me up and give me a couple packs of cigarettes, a couple of Zuzus, you know what I mean? I'm going to take care of you. And they let me do that. They let me do that in that program for about 90 days. And they called me into a special group and put me on the hot seat.
Having to talk about all the stuff that got me to where I was. Which is amazing. You think, talking about it, yeah, what's that going to do? Well, when you're talking about it and you're getting feedback and people are calling you on your shit, you're going to have to change.
They told me that I was going to change the way that I was being or I was going to leave. And then I got scared again. Because I knew after 90 days of being clean that if I went out and smoked any drugs that I was going to die for sure. This time I was going to be successful and die, really. So, that following day is when I gained the willingness. When I gained the willingness to change my life.
One little piece at a time, my life's getting put back together. And I'll be going to meetings the rest of my life. And I'll be doing things within community and helping someone along the way for the rest of my life. I'll call and I'll get back with you. Okay. I'm the project director of Adopt a Block. Adopt a Block is a nonprofit agency. We work to abate drug nuisance in the Tenderloin. My daughter spent a few years being very angry with me for not being there. She went through a couple years in therapy dealing with this. And eventually dealing with her anger around me not being there. Between the ages of 7 and 12, the therapist deemed that she should never be around me at all and that I shouldn't even see her or have contact with her until my life got stabilized. As I got clean 4.5 years ago, I started making more contact. I started seeing my kid when she was 12, and we developed a good relationship and we've talked a lot. And I really want my daughter with me, but she's happy and situated in her life with her school friends, that she's had a really stable and healthy lifestyle for the last, 10 years that I haven't been around.
In August, after 3.5 years of sort of getting my graces back, having to be consistent, be on time, do stuff that I'm supposed to do, let them know when I'm going to be there, when I'm not going to be there, and then actually be there when I'm supposed to, and be responsible. My daughter, she moved in with me and my girlfriend in August, and I can tell you that has been like just the biggest miracle. That has been like the best. It's what drove me to get clean in the first place. And it's happening. It's a miracle and it's happening.
I suffered from classic uniqueness. Nobody else in the world had gone through what I had gone through. Who could I tell? But I found out that there were other women who had suffered in the same ways that I had. And I've bonded with these women, and I make it a point in my life, every day of my life, to reach out to help women who have suffered in the same way that I have.
I work for the Sisters Project, which is actually a pre-treatment program inside the jail itself. I've done a 360-degree turn in my life because for a long time I was an inmate here. Oh, it's wonderful. I got keys to everything. Yes. Yes, I have keys to the hallways, and bathrooms, and the ODR, which is our cafeteria. I mean, I can get in and out of the halls. I mean, I can't believe it. You know, I've come a long way. I have really come a long way, is all I can say. You know, from inmate to having keys, that's a good thing. It really is. I really feel proud of myself, I really do.